It was the holiday season in 2018. I'd been pondering what gifts to buy my family and friends. I literally woke up in the middle of the night and started searching for Black-owned companies. I wanted to buy something that would have an impact on my community. So that year, I blacked out Christmas. In other words, I purchased virtually everything from gift bags to playing cards to spices to body butters, all from Black-owned companies. And it made me think, the holiday season isn't the only time when we celebrate. There are birthdays and Mother's Day, Father's Day. And that's how the idea for Noir Boutique was born. Noir is the singular feminine version of the word black in French, and boutique means a small store that is sophisticated. We are thoughtful in selecting our brands, and we test absolutely every product which goes into the gifts. Go to my bathroom, I actually use the scrubs and the body butters. Or go to my kitchen and my pantry is full of spices and sauces from Black-owned companies. We also make sure that we handle the products with integrity. That's why we have our Black Glove service. All of our gifts are packaged with the utmost care. We want to represent our partners in the same manner in which they'd represent themselves. We don't sell gift baskets. We curate thoughtful collaborations of Black-owned products. That's Noir Boutique.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So excited to be with you today for the first of our June series called Dadpreneurs. And as you see, I am not by myself this morning. I'm joined by this wonderful gentleman, Staff Sergeant Jarvis Mitchell, who is the co-owner of my Musicality. Musicality tea is amazing. But before we jump to having Mr. Mitchell introduce himself, let me just take a step back and let everyone know what Noir Boutique is. So we curate thoughtful gift collaborations featuring products from 100% Black-owned companies. Why is that important to us? It's important because it's building another platform, building another way for Black-owned companies to be exposed in the market, to be on your shelves, in your pantries, in your homes. So every gift collaboration, whether it be a baby gift basket with pacifiers and blankets, or it's an edible gift basket with barbecue sauce or tea, everything comes from a Black-owned company. So we're keeping the dollars and the loyalty flowing in our community and building up legacies. So now that I've got that out the way, let me just take a second and say good morning to you, Staff Sergeant Mitchell. Thank you so much for your service as well as for your time this morning. Why don't you just take it? Thank you. Why don't you just take a second and introduce yourself and your family and business, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, good morning. My name is Jarvis Smith, Sergeant Mitchell here. If we're working, I'm based out of Florida, Texas, Florida. I have a lovely wife. We've been married almost 7 years this year. And two handsome boys. I have an Avery, he's 3 years old. And I have a 3-month-old. His name is Riley. And my wife and I come up with this business, and it's called Musicality. And what Musicality is we provide premium loose leaf tea and accessories all across the states. So if you're in the market or want to know a little bit of information about loose leaf tea and the benefits and pretty much what it could assist you with, Musicality would definitely be the company that you look towards.
Thank you so much for that. So Let me back up for just a second. He said that he has a lovely wife named Brittany, as well as two boys, Avery and Rodney, and they are such a beautiful family. We have their IG listed on the screen, so make sure you hop over there and follow them, and then also go to the website and find out more about the teas, as Jarvis mentioned. They are premium teas. They look. I have one this morning that I'm drinking. It's the Earl Grey cream tea. I'm addicted. Okay, so I'm drinking up all my inventory. But anyway, y'all go over there and make sure that you follow them. So really excited to talk to you a little bit today, just about being a dadpreneur. You have a full-time job, you have the business, you have a wife, you have two boys. Talk to us just about the blessings of and challenges as well of being a dadpreneur.
So I'll the challenges of being a dadpreneur. So one of the challenges we face, or I face personally, is pretty much trying to balance the full-time job, my side jobs, as well as the business of musicality, along with being a dad and being a husband and being a provider and being all those things. I would say that's one of the biggest challenges that I've faced since getting into musicality. Some of the blessings I would say is being able to develop something with my wife, a product / service we could provide for any and everyone. I say that would definitely be the blessing. And this is something that once we get situated, we get this great foundation, and we're able to be consistent at our craft, if you will, and then we can maybe pass this on to our kids.
I love that you mentioned that, passing it on to your kids. So we had the pleasure of speaking with your wife a couple of months ago, and one of the things she mentioned was that musicality was really birthed out of her love for tea, but then also as a way to build up funds and then leverage those funds to actually fund another business idea that you have. So talk to us a little bit about what musicality is funding in the future.
Okay, so for the last few years, since we moved back we was in California for roughly about 6 years, and then we came down, got orders here in Florida. And since being in Florida, or I'll say well before then, I used to do side gigs. So pretty much home improvement, whether it be flooring, roofing, building walls, customizing woodwork, whatever the case may be. This is something I have a passion for. And being here, I would say my workload has increased because I know a lot more folks here than I did while I was in California, because I was born and raised here. So just think about everyone always wanting something done to their home. They always want to have some type of upgrade, and I want this customized. I want to incorporate this into my home. So everyone's calling me, and I think once musicality gets to a point where it's able to financially kind of hold its own, then my wife and I could use the funds to possibly purchase investment property. I'll do all the renovations, so that'll kind of save us as far as, outsourcing help, and we can flip those homes. And again, this is going to go to the kids. So we're just trying to develop all these different, I guess you would consider them passive income, to ensure that we put our kids in a better position than we were at their age.
Yes, I'm getting so excited over here because I love to see families coming together, being able to work together, and just have kind of that comprehensive vision for where you're going, where you want to go, and just kind of planning out the steps. And it was so cool to hear your wife talk about some of the same things a few months ago, and then now hearing you just talk about the exact same vision and bringing that together. So I know that kind of juggling the businesses and juggling everything, there has to be like a tag team. And I think when I spoke to your wife, she was like, Avery was probably watching Peppa Pig or something like that. And I think she's somewhere in the house. Talk to us a little bit about how do you all juggle everything, just kind of building the business, working every day, the two boys, and then also being able to constantly fund or work on your vision.
that has been a challenge, and we're still working at it, trying to juggle everything. But we try to set aside time for our kids. Usually, like the stuff I want to do, I have to wait until everyone's asleep. When it comes to working on something, whether it be some type of construction or even cleaning the vehicles, I have to wait till everyone's asleep in order to do that. So we try to come up with a schedule and say between this time and this time, we'll try to get to this task, and if not, then it has to kind of wait until the next day. But pretty much, getting a calendar and then setting aside time. So I would say that's the way we're trying to juggle, but it's not always successful. But we're still learning.
Yeah, I love how you emphasize trying, which means, it's a daily struggle. You're constantly trying to get there. I completely get it. And I don't have any kids, and I am trying to make sure I can balance and juggle everything. So I can completely understand. So let's switch a little bit as we're talking about being a dadpreneur. Talk to us a little bit about you growing up and maybe the example that you got from your father. Was entrepreneurship something that was a part of your home?
In a sense, it was. So I grew up in it was me, my twin brother, and my two older sisters. We grew up in dad wasn't there. So I wouldn't say mom was that male role model in a sense, along with my grandfather who stayed right next door. They pretty much helped incorporate like my work ethic. And when it comes to being an entrepreneur, my granddad showed me how to hustle, how to go out there and get it. And I would say he has been, as far as the male, he's been the biggest role model in that sense, and pretty much guiding and directing me into certain paths. So, but when it comes to my mom as well, she's definitely been a cheerleader. She was not an entrepreneur in a sense. She worked 9 to 5. She worked at the sheriff department for about 20 years or so. But just seeing my grandfather, because he was a mechanic, and he would do side gigs like working on houses and working on farms. So just seeing him and his work ethic pretty much, I want to say I pretty much try to embody that. So I would say he would be he would be that factor as far as being that role model, being that example.
Mm-hmm. I think it's beautiful. Similar to you, I didn't grow up with my father in the home, but I was blessed to have uncle dads and my grandfather and just my godfather, who is absolutely amazing. I'm going to do a tribute to him later on in the month. But I love the fact that you talked about watching your grandfather and his work ethic and trying to emulate that, and everything that I know about how you all operate my musicality with just being consistent, the customer service and working hard, making sure your packaging, your brand are represented very well. It's, hearing you talk about it, I can see your grandfather kind of reflected in how you operate. And I think that's beautiful. Talk to us about maybe one of the biggest pieces of advice that he might have given to you.
I would say one of the biggest advice or nuggets, if you will, that he's dropped is just try to be consistent. That is, for some people, that's the toughest thing to do. And for me, that's one thing I have a challenge with, is being consistent. And that's something I still struggle with, trying to be consistent at any and everything. But that would be the nugget that I got from my grandfather, is consistency, because it definitely pays off, just making sure that the process, looking at the process and being consistent with that process, and then you'll have a greater outcome.
That is, oh my goodness, say it loud for the people in the back. Consistency, right? It can make or break your business. It can make or break your professional life, anything and everything that you do. So I had a larger custom order last night that I had to get out, and I have a full-time job, and it was literally 4:00 in the morning, and I found myself kind of getting tired, and they're little things that I put in the gifts that, that I make sure they're packaged. And I found myself kind of like getting tired and wanting to rush through. And it was that lesson or that message of be consistent. If a customer's ordering from the very first time to 10 times later, you still need to be consistent with how you are operating and how you are being about your business. I can say that with musicality, all of my experiences, my interactions and communications, which have been mostly with Brittany, your wife, have been consistent. And it's been so pleasant from the very first time I reached out and said, hey, I'm launching business. I hadn't even launched yet. To now, she's been just so wonderful to work with. And to your point, she's been very, very consistent. So I know you're working on it. I'm working on it. But we're going to watch Brittany because she's apparently the blueprint for us on that. Yes, absolutely. So talk about Father's Day is coming up. Are there any traditions or so that you've established with your family? And I know this will be the first time you're father of two for Father's Day, but just talk about how you all celebrate and some of what you do.
So I guess traditionally, as far as Father's Day, what we've done is just like even birthdays, we go out and we celebrate going out to get a solid meal. But I think this year I want to implement making it more about my family more than about me, because I can do that on my birthday. So we'll make it more about the family this Father's Day. Do something they enjoy doing instead of what I want to do, which is probably more hard or 50 or something. But we're trying to make it more.
Making it more about the family. I love being connected to families that get it and that are invested in families. And the mere fact that you said Father's Day, the one day out of the year where you can literally say, hey, this is all about me, that you're choosing to make it more about your boys and your family, just speaks to the integrity that you all operate with. And so it's such a blessing. So let's talk a little bit about teas for a second. So we sell a variety of the teas embedded in some of the gift collaborations. So at this point, we don't sell kind of a singular tea unless people know me and they can reach out and do a custom order. But we do have the sample packs, which I love. And let me just talk about some of the names. So Red Bone is one of them. It's Passionberry Fruit Blend. You Bring Me Joy is a Moroccan mint tea, and Mask Off, which is cold and flu tea. And so I know that when I spoke to Brittany, she kind of talked to me about a little bit of the inspiration behind the names. But why don't you just share for those who are watching for the first time, what is it about the music and the song titles coming together with teas?
Okay. So yeah, for those that don't know, all our teas are named after songs. So Red Bone, Childish Gambino. So our thing was when we went to the drawing board and trying to figure out, hey, how could we make these names pop out, when people look at them. So what we did was we set a whole bunch of teas, we brewed a whole bunch of teas, kind of sweetened some of them, and pretty much just let some songs play. So whether it's going to Spotify or YouTube and just letting random songs play. And then as we're consuming the tea and then the songs playing, we're just trying to figure out what type of vibe is this tea giving off. And that's pretty much how we got to being able to add names or name our tea after songs. So that's how we went about it.
Super creative. I never would have sat down and said, let me see what kind of vibe this tea is giving off and put it with music. I just think that's so innovative. And it makes so much sense because if you look at the titles, like Feeling Good, Herbal Flower Tea, absolutely. I'm going to be feeling good. I'm going to be relaxed and chilling when I'm drinking this. So I just think it's super creative. My favorite is the Earl Grey Cream Tea. And I think I was telling you before we started that I actually, once I drank it, I went through the inventory and fished it out. It was like, this is going to be mine. But talk to us about what is your favorite tea?
So I'm definitely a fan of the Earl Greys. So the I'm Sprung to the Jerry Sprunger. Those are my top. Those are definitely my top because, like I say, I'm an Earl Grey guy. But I would have to say it's the I'm Sprung 2, which has the lavender the lavender in it. So that's
Yeah.
that's
Yes, it is delicious. And so let me back up for just a second because Brittany told us that you actually were not even really into teas before she introduced you to them and you guys decided to launch this company. Talk to us about like just that whole process of getting you to be a non-tea person to now you like, I like the lavender, I like the Earl Greys. Talk to us about that.
so I don't know if you consider Florida the South, but just growing up in Florida, all I used to drink is sweet tea. That's the only thing I knew about tea. You know, sometimes I have green tea, but it had to be, I think, in a Lipton green tea blend or whatever the case was. But like I said, I was never into tea. And then Brittany she used to go to this place called, I think it was Tivana, but I think they're no longer a business. But she used to always come home and she'd have all these different type of teas, and she would say, "Hey, come try this." I'm like, I ain't into that. So me trying those teas, somehow she convinced me to try those teas, and I'm like, "Hey, this not too bad. This not too bad." Oh, do you? And then she'll say, "Hey, do you get the notes of coconut or pomegranate?" And I'm just like, I don't know. But the more I tried the tea, the more I enjoyed it. And I know it's also a better option compared to drinking sodas or drinking juice, and I like tea at its rawest state. So I don't add any type of agave, honey, no type of sweetener. So straight out the pot into my mug, and I'm good to go.
Good for you. That is not my testimony. I have I add creamers and honey and all kinds of stuff to it. But they are very very delicious. So you mentioned growing up in Florida. We're gonna switch gears just a little bit. Growing up in Florida, and most of the time you're drinking sweet tea. And I grew up in Georgia, which means everywhere I went, it seemed like there was someone hired just to pour sugar in the sweet tea. Like that was their job. That was their only job. You just stand back there and pour sugar. But growing up, talk to us about now that you're a dadpreneur, your father, a husband, business owner. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself to do more of?
I would say be more bold. That's definitely one big thing that I think I lacked. Was just trying to play it safe. Where they say scared money don't make money, but which is true. So being bold, I think that would definitely kind of catapulted us as far as the company, a lot faster than it is now. So just being bold with flavors, just trying different things outside of what I'm familiar with or that I'm comfortable with. So
Yeah.
just getting out that box.
Got it. No, I appreciate that. I think you mentioned had you been bolder, it would have catapulted you all, further than where you are. But I love the fact that everyone has a journey and everyone's journey is different. I was reading something recently about Vera Wang, and she didn't even launch her business until age 40, and I'll be 40 this year. So I completely get it looking back and saying, oh, I wish I could have or, would have done some things more. But I can say that where you all are with the vision that you have for musicality and the other, add-on business or extensions that you'll eventually launch, you're right where you should be. And I am just super glad that we were able to cross paths and get to work together, and really look forward to one day walking into Target, walking into Walmart and seeing musicality on the shelves, or even, instead of having to drive down the street and go to Starbucks, love Starbucks, but being able to say, let me stop in musicality and see what they got new and what they have popping right now. So really been a blessing to connect. So talk to us a little bit about what's on the horizon, what's coming up next, any new flavors, anything that you want to give us insight into for musicality.
Yes. So on our Instagram page, and this is something now I know TikTok is big. We're kind of older, if you will, and then we're still trying to get into that whole TikTok era. But we have some new teas that we're trying to add different flavors to. So just recently, my wife created, it's a lemonade with which tea is it? It's butterfly pea with lavender. I won't call it a spritzer, but more of a refresher. So we're just trying to start incorporating different type of, whether it be different type of juices not like juice, but the light lemonade and the like seltzer drink, the LaCroix drinks, trying to incorporate those with our teas, just so we're not having just your regular teas. You know, trying to spruce them up, if you will. So you can definitely expect that from us coming pretty soon.
And you said definitely not to have just regular teas. There is nothing regular about your teas, sir. Let me be clear now. I know what you mean, but you said also, it was so funny. You said juice, like not juice. And I was listening to a comedian the other day, and he's like, when we want to emphasize something, we just repeat the word. Well, look, everybody, these are good. Okay, these are extra good, amazing teas that you need to definitely check out. Again, if you buy one of the Noir Boutique gift collaborations, or if you just hop over to Musicality, to their website, and buy them directly, it is all going to grow our community and to grow these amazing businesses. So before we sign off, I guess any last thoughts or so that you'd like to share with the audience, particularly if you can speak to those guys or those gentlemen who are maybe leading their families and have some ideas, thinking about entrepreneurship, but struggling with, man, how is this going to work with the rest of all of what I have to do?
So I guess my final words would say, just trust in the process. Thank God for everything. You know, just praise him, and everything will fall into line. You know, just believe in the higher power. Believe in our Lord.
Amen. Amen. And the doors of the church are open. Any who will, come forth and get your Musicality tea or get your Noir Boutique gift collaboration. Jarvis, I have really, really thoroughly enjoyed myself, thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you. I love the fact that I was able to meet your wife and speak with her, and just seeing the two of you, even on not on the same screen, but just seeing the beautiful vision and connection that you have. I wish you nothing but blessings and sold out months, and that your inventory is just flying off the shelves. I do one day hope to be able to drive down the street and see my Musicality standalones, and maybe even buy one of the houses that you flip. Hey, I mean, the sky is the limit. But for all of you who are viewing today, again, don't forget to go over to IG and follow Musicality. They're also on Facebook. You can go to their website. You can also come and shop at Noir Boutique, and we make sure that if you have a custom order and you want a particular kind of tea, we can also do that for you. But check them out. Make sure that you follow them and support them. And if nothing else, just pray for them, and that God will continue to bless their business. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for viewing this Saturday. Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed Saturday.